Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Spirit Speaker Podcast. I am psychic medium Jamie Collins, and you might recognize my guest tonight, Christi Clemons Hoffman. She was on previously talking about her newly released book, or kind of newly released, Real Life Angel Encounters. She does QHHT, and I had a QHHT session. If you remember, I had never had a QHHT session, and Christy was kind enough to gift me a session. So I thought we'd have her back so we can kind of discuss my session, kind of give us a little bit of a recap of what QHHT, and kind of we're just going to dive in a little bit. So welcome back, Christy. Thank you for returning.
Thank you for having me back, Jamie.
Yeah,
It's
no,
nice to see you.
yes, you as well. So for those that maybe didn't see that last episode that you were in, and I was fascinated by the QHHT. Can you tell folks what QHHT is, and just a little bit about how you got into it, kind of why you got into it, a little bit about your backstory with QHHT, what it means?
Absolutely. QHHT stands for Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. And this is a hypnosis technique that was developed and refined by Dolores Cannon. She was a metaphysician, world-class metaphysician out of Arkansas. Now, she did her work over, a span of maybe 40 years.
Yeah.
And she had a very lengthy career. She and her husband, Johnny, were a military family. Johnny, of course, was in the military, and they would move from base to base. And he was an amateur hypnotist, and they would work with people on the base. Things like smoking and weight loss and changing habits and anxiety and nervous eating and all kinds of things. They wanted to get faster, more reliable results. So they wanted to take client deeper and deeper. Now, the conventional wisdom of the time was don't take people into those deep hypnotic states because strange things happen. Sure enough, one of their clients, she just spontaneously went to another lifetime, and she started talking like a 1930s gangster girl, you know.
Right, right.
Where's my boyfriend? Just like and they thought, what the heck is this? And they didn't know really what they had stumbled into. And so they started working with people on uncovering other lifetimes. And then Johnny got into an accident with a drunk driver. He was a paraplegic, and they put this work on hold for a long time. And he was recuperating. He never really regained his health, but she stopped the work to take care of him. And then when he passed, she picked it back up again, and she started doing more and more with it. And she got to be known for doing this past life work, and she got a name for herself doing that. Somebody approached her at one point and said, well, I've got someone here who thinks they may have had an alien abduction experience. Can you help uncover that and understand?
Oh my gosh.
I said, well, I can try. And found out that she was very effective at that. So then she started working with people who have had alien experiences, and she was doing these sessions and running the UFO conference in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and she was writing books. She wrote several books having to do with aliens.
Mm-hmm.
There was
Yeah.
Custodians, and then Legend of Star Crash, Keepers of the Garden, and then the whole Convoluted Universe series. And so she wrote all of these books based on her thousands of QHHT sessions.
Oh,
And
wow.
she really refined this technique, kept refining it, and found out more and more that you can do with it. You can talk with your higher self and ask questions and receive healing even. So she wanted to just develop it and take it as far as she could go. And then she started teaching. So about 2009 or 10, I found out about QHHT.
Hmm.
Never heard of it. And I was going through the dissolution of my marriage. And so it was
Mhm.
a really hard time. And I started Googling, as you do, karma, soul contracts, uh,
Right, right.
soul family relationships, and came across Dolores Cannon and decided that's what I needed to do. I needed to have a session with her. So I called up the office and I said, yeah, I want to have a schedule. I mean, I want to schedule a session with Dolores Cannon. And they said, well, she's booked up for the next 4 years. I didn't realize that she was that big of a deal. And
Right, right.
I said, well, I was kind of hoping to get in before then. And she had just started teaching people to use her method. So I just kind of sat on that for a while, but they said, if you go to this website, put in your zip code and you can find somebody who's studied with her and knows how to do this. So I did. And I found, I'm not going to say his name, but he was head of PRS for a long time, was a
Okay.
psychotherapist here in Kansas City. And
Mhm.
my husband, I talked my husband into going too.
Oh,
And
wow.
though we were splitting up, and neither one of us got very far with QHHT. I'm going to be totally honest here. Well, it turns out that
Mm.
the practitioner was not doing it as Dolores had taught. So
Oh, wow.
that's why. Right, right. There's a
You didn't know
certain-
that at the time? You didn't know
no,
that he wasn't doing it? Oh, wow.
no idea what it was supposed to be.
Oh, so
Uh,
how did you find out he wasn't doing it the way Dolores intended?
because I later took the class. Years later, I took
Oh.
the class and I realized, oh, wait a minute. The way what he was doing was not how she taught. And
Mm.
so I had sat on this and I still believed in it. I still believed in,
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
right? And so this practitioner, he said, well, that doesn't happen very, very often. But if it ever does, I've got someone I can refer you to. And I don't know if you know Gail Larmer in Kansas
Mhm.
City. Oh, she's a wonderful medium and psychic. She's in like south of Overland Park, like Stanley Stillwell.
Oh,
And
okay.
referred me to her. And she was wonderful. So she did a reading and answered all of my questions that I had about this relationship, about karma, about our soul contracts and other lifetimes that we had together. It was a really great reading. She started teaching, well, and I sent a lot of people to her as well. And then she started
Mhm.
teaching how to connect with spirit and do these readings. So I took
Okay.
all the classes that she was teaching. I took every single one of her classes. And I started working with people too, doing the psychic work, the mediumship, the
Right.
connection with angels, guides, and our loved ones.
Mm.
So I started doing that, and I want to say that was 2010. So maybe this was 2009 when I found out about Dolores. And then I started doing readings out of Transcendence Wellness Center. I don't know if you remember that place in Miriam. And so
Mhm.
readings there and meeting a whole bunch of people. And I was meeting people who were doing energy work, and I'd never heard of that before. So I thought, well, that's probably the next thing I ought to learn how to do. So I took Reiki 1 and 2 and started working with people with Reiki as well. And then, gosh, fast forward like 2015, I had lost my job at Hallmark. There was a big mass layoffs, and I was part of the cut. So
Mm.
I lost my job in 2015. And by then I realized, you know what? I really don't want to do another corporate gig. I don't want to work in corporate anymore. So I started Radiate Wellness. And
Oh,
in
okay.
2016 that I had launched Radiate Wellness. And in 2016, I took level 1 and started doing QHHT. And then 2017, I moved to the next level of QHHT, level 2. And
Wow.
2019, I took the level 3 class. And then 2020, Early 2020, I passed my level 3. So
Wow.
yeah, so I mean that's it. That's the journey.
That's yeah. So Dolores actually coined the term QHHT. That's hers.
Right. Right.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
it took a while to land on a name. And she was not sure what to call it for the longest time because it did so many things.
Yeah,
Finally, she
yeah.
landed on quantum healing hypnosis
Mhm.
technique.
Oh,
So it's on the quantum level.
yeah, that's well, I thought what would be interesting, why I had you back is because I know there may be people out there that are curious, maybe have wanted to have a session done. And so I thought it would be interesting if I did it and you were kind enough to gift me a session, which I appreciate, so that I could have this experience and let people know, at least kind of in a way they would know someone who's had this done. And after listening back to my session, because Christy gives you a copy of your session, which I think is awesome. And so it's really interesting because during my session, there were parts I remember, like right after, but then what I realized is there's a large part that I didn't remember. And so even though you're under, you're not deeply, as you say, deep under it. You're still, as you like explained during the session, you're still in control. Is
Mhm.
that correct? As the client, I'm still under in control, right?
Right. There's nothing that any hypnotist can make you do that you would not normally do. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Anything you would be morally opposed to, you're not going to do or say. You just can't because
Okay.
you are in control.
Right. Right. So I I thought that was cool. Um, But why do you think it is? One of my questions to you is why do you think you remember some pieces of the session when you're under and other parts you don't?
Well, it's much like life. There are some things that you remember in life and some things that you don't,
Yeah.
especially when there's trauma involved. So, when we're looking at other lifetimes, there can be trauma in those lives. And we may remember bits of that and not so much other parts of it.
Okay. Okay.
Also, when we're speaking with our higher self, the subconscious is what Dolores called it, but it's really your higher self. And when we're speaking with that, I mean, they're the ones, it's basically you're channeling your higher self.
Okay.
So it's not you talking, it comes through you. So,
Okay. Gotcha.
right? So you might remember
Right.
in pieces, but it's really not you. You're allowing your higher self to come through.
Oh, okay. Okay. I like that. So that makes sense with life. Some things you remember, some things you don't. So, what was interesting for me was right at the beginning as I'm listening to the recording and you kind of talk me through to kind of get me in this. I
Yes, and a relaxed,
remember from, huh?
just to get you to a relaxed hypnotic state.
Yes, that relaxed hypnotic state. And so I remember it was interesting because I did remember that initially. I felt like when I heard on the recording the wooded area, and it almost felt like I was reaching because I want the listeners to know I initially felt like I was in prehistoric time. I don't know if that's the right word, but really prehistoric time. And people would say, well, how would you know that? And a lot of it is just a sensing or becoming aware of it. I felt like I was going way, way back. And then when you ask me questions about what am I wearing or where do I live, I even remember when I went back and heard the recording initially, I thought it was like during dinosaur time. That's how far back I thought I was going. And I was like, well, no, I think your mind plays with you a little bit. And you're like, no. Was there humans walking around during prehistoric time, with dinosaur time?
Not with dinosaurs. We did not coexist with
Right,
dinosaurs.
exactly. But I knew I had gone back like thousands of years.
It was primitive.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe we should talk about like what you remember, like talking through the session.
Okay. That is initially the first part. I do remember having when you talked about what was I wearing, everything. Again, I didn't feel like there were clothes per se. I believe I said something like straw or grass was the
Mhm.
dress. I lived in a village or in huts that were made of grass or straw or whatever, tree limbs.
Mhm.
That was fascinating to me because when I felt that and heard it again, have you ever had anyone go back that far?
Oh yeah. Oh
Oh,
man.
really?
Oh yeah. No, our consciousness, well, let me back up just a little bit. Yeah, we all started here as prehistoric humans, right? So it stands to reason that we would have had souls, we would have had consciousness, and all of our souls are roughly the same age. So
Yeah.
it stands to reason that, you know, we could have had a lifetime way back then. And of course, prehistoric era, that was tens of thousands of years of what we would consider,
Yeah.
right? But it was
Yes.
still advanced enough to where you had these huts, even if they were just very rudimentary huts. And you did say you had hairy feet. I remember that, and bare feet. Um, yeah, the huts were small and straw and made of straw and branches. Um, you would fish. Um, throw something in to catch the fish, and um, yeah, it's very typical prehistoric. There was you had a skirt of some sort of grass decorated with things. So we're not sure what exact period this was or what exact location,
Right.
but really that's a detail. That's curious. That's a curiosity.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. See, I didn't remember that part.
Really?
Yeah, no. Now, of course, when I listened to the recording, I was like, oh, wow. But right afterwards, I did not
Mm.
um, remember that. So that's why I was asking you that question. Is it normal for people to remember something, or why do we remember some things and some things we don't? What struck you the most? Like, after hearing it or the notes, if
Mm.
you can remember, was there anything that stood out to you or struck you? I was a male in that lifetime. I thought it was interesting. I love the way that I like the way for people to understand how you don't stay just in one moment. I love the way you say, okay, let's move further down or let's go another. I I love the way you do that where we don't just stay in one moment. You move through different periods of that lifetime.
Is very important because your life is not just one moment. Your life is the important days, right?
Yeah.
The things that stick out to you. And the the way that we move through is we close out a scene, we move away from something, and then we look for an appropriate day and time. We look for an important day. We look for a significant time. We look for the last day of the life. That's important too. So
Yeah.
these important days, anything could be important, right? So it's whatever
Yeah.
you think is important. It doesn't have to be, this is the day that there was a fire in the village, or this was the day that my friend got killed. Anything could be important. And so
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
do it that way. Mhm.
Yeah. And another thing I thought was interesting, but I don't quite remember, I liked when you took me to a moment, you moved me forward in this lifetime. And there was a moment where I believe I said I was putting on a crown.
Yeah.
And you asked what the crown was made of. And again, it's prehistoric times. It's like, leaves or trees or, what have you.
Hmm.
And I believe it was a ceremony of sorts. Is that what you remember? This
Hmm.
crown that I'm getting is for a ceremony.
Yep. Yes, so with this crown, you were up leveling. You were like moving into the next level, like maybe taking on some responsibility,
Mm,
moving into manhood.
mm.
You said that everybody was looking at you and you felt good, but it also felt like you were going from being a kid to being a man.
Right, right.
Mhm.
That was cool.
And
That
then
was
you had
really cool.
a herd of some sort of grass as well. And you said, I have to take care of people and I will have to learn. And you had people who were going to help you learn and everything. But you didn't want to do it.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool too. Like I didn't really have a choice in the matter.
Mm-mm.
Like this was kind of expected of me in this lifetime to go
Exactly.
from this kid per se to adulthood, manhood, and how I really didn't want to do that.
No.
Maybe I don't know. I could say that in this lifetime or how things carry through. I don't want to be a grown up. We all jokingly say, "I'm tired of adulting. I just want to stay a kid." Maybe
Exactly.
that's it.
Well, and part of your lessons were that having that choice, and maybe you didn't have the choice to take on this responsibility, but you had to like learn to appreciate the choice.
Exactly. Exactly. I thought that was, and then I thought about that when I heard it again. I thought, you know what? Even though I didn't want to do it, I remember just sitting and thinking as I was listening to this, maybe that was really an honor, to get this crown. Maybe even though I didn't go into detail with it, I just thought I was like, well, maybe Jamie, this was kind of a big deal. And you don't think it is, but maybe this was kind of a big deal that you were getting to wear the crown.
I think it was a big deal, an honor,
Right.
right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
Um, yeah, I mean, it sounded like a ceremony because you said there was
Yes.
music. Of course, this would have been prehistoric type of music,
Right.
maybe
Right.
thumping on something. Everybody's happy. Um, yeah, that there was people were making a not a fuss, but just it felt just weighty and important.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I would agree. Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
there was
then
Mhm.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
And I think I liked when that part was there, and then you kind of again, I enjoyed the way you didn't stay too long in one moment. It's like I can imagine, I don't know, as a QHHT practitioner, it's like you're looking for the story. And so what I liked as I was going back listening to it is how you would move along. Okay, we're going to move from this and we're going to go to the next moment. I don't know. I just like that,
Good.
the way that you did that.
Now, the way we move through a common lifetime, now, of course, this is how we're taught to do it in certification, but it doesn't always go this way, right?
Mm.
But
Ah,
when we come down into the life, whatever it is, we want to establish the scene. So tell me what's around you. Is it night or day? Are you inside or outside? Tell me tell me what you notice around you. And it could be a visual thing. It could be an
mm,
auditory hearing thing. It could be just a feeling, or it could be just a knowing, an idea, a thought. But we want to know, like, are you inside, outside? Is it near water, in the mountains, in the forest? Just like getting some details. And then we
yeah.
want to know, are you there? Are you physical? Are you present? Do you feel like you have a physical body? What is
Mm.
your body? Are you male or female? Are you young or old? Are you healthy or unhealthy? What do you have on your body? Look down and see your feet. Tell me what's going on. You had big hairy feet. Above that, some sort of grass garment, woven,
Right,
right?
right.
Tell me what is on your body. What are you wearing? And then what are you holding or carrying? Are you holding or carrying anything? Do you have anything on your head? Who's with you?
Yeah.
Just getting an established sense of scene.
Yeah.
And after we do that, and I just want to keep asking questions until it feels like we've got a good baseline for what's going on. And
No.
not everybody is a physical being, and not every
Mm.
person is a human.
So what do you mean? Not a physical being?
Sometimes they are just light beings or energy beings.
Mm.
And so, do you feel like you have a physical body? No. I'm just light. I'm color.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wild.
It is. That would have been nice. I wanted to ask if people are hearing this and they hear QHHT,
Hmm.
how is this different from a past life regression? Is there any difference between past life regression and QHHT?
So, excellent question. Past life regression is just that. It's only that. QHHT goes to other lifetimes and allows you to bring in your higher self.
Ah,
Ask for
okay.
healing. Mhm.
Okay.
And we
Okay.
get to ask questions as well. Like, if you could ask your soul anything, what would you ask? And you came with
Okay.
questions. You had a lot of questions. And you learned a lot, as a matter of fact. So it's much, much more comprehensive than just a past life regression.
Okay. Okay. Because my understanding of past life regression, you go under as well, correct?
Yeah, you
Okay.
usually do. Typically,
Okay.
just getting into that relaxed state. And you might not go as deep as in QHHT, but it really
Ah,
doesn't matter how deep, air quotes, we think we are, because we can have a phenomenal experience at any level, at any
yeah.
level. So
Yeah.
yeah. And then the QHHT also, it's a very lengthy proposition. It's all day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when we do just a simple past life regression, we might not do a full length interview with the practitioner. It's like, why are
Okay.
you here? Are you having physical pain that you want to understand? Are you having flashbacks to another lifetime? Why do you want to do this? But in QHHT, we go into depth, find out
Yeah.
complete family history, complete personal history, medical history, fears or phobias,
Yeah.
who are the important people in your life, what are the important events in your life. So we go into quite a bit of detail,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that sets it apart too, because there's a couple of reasons why we do that. One is to really understand the nature of your questions. So I'm listening to you tell your story, and I'm listening for things as an impartial observer. I have no skin in
Right.
the game. So I'm
Right.
listening and going, that's the third person in your family who has done this or said that, or this is the fourth or fifth time you've said this thing in a particular way. What's going on there? So I
Right.
ask questions
Yeah.
about that. Was that important for you? Was that painful for you? How did you feel about that? Just kind of seeing where your pain points are. So
Right.
so I can look for this in the session and just ask better questions about it and help get to the root of it. The other reason we want to do this in-depth interview is that in case the current life comes up in the session, and it does not all that often, but
Okay.
then it's helpful, because if you've got several siblings, and then you go
Hmm.
through a lifetime where you're a child, and there might be just one sibling, and you might think, oh, okay, well, this is not the current lifetime. But if you're talking about the siblings that I know about because I wrote them down, then I know that,
Right.
okay, she's in the current lifetime, so we really have
Ah.
to pay attention.
Yeah.
What are some things that you missed the first time? So that's the only reason people would go to the current lifetime, but just a long time ago, like when we were a child or when we were a young adult, because there was something that you needed to re-examine, something you might have missed the first time, and we need to go back and talk about it. So, for example, there was this man who came in years ago. He is a gay man, came out mid 20s as gay, but grew up on a farm in like Illinois, Iowa, Ohio, something like that. And in
Hmm.
this session, he went back to when he was in high school, sitting around the dining room table with his family and having to tell his parents, hey, I got accepted to this college out of state. And I know I didn't tell you that I was applying anywhere out of state, but I wanted you to know that's where I'm going. And in the session, he just looked around, and I said, well, how do your parents react to that? He says, oh, wow. They know that I can't stay on the farm. They know I need to leave. There's something
Yeah.
different about me. And so that
Yeah.
really helped him heal that relationship that his parents knew probably before he did that he was gay,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
still loved him, and they still accepted him.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I wasn't expecting. So, for those of you that may think of getting a QHHT session, I thought kind of go in and go into the session, get relaxed and go under. And no, as Christie's talking here, she's talking about the interview process, learning Jamie. And so we spent probably, I don't know, an hour and a half, two
oh,
hours,
yeah.
yeah, just on the interview process, which was uh, fascinating in itself. And so don't think if you want to get a QHHT, you're going to go in for a couple hours and that's it. Heck, the first part is the interview where Christy gets to know you, and then you go into the session. And then after the session, you discuss the session. So when Christy says this is an all day event, it's an all day event, like 5, 6 hours. I don't
Mhm,
know what normal, 4 to 6 hours.
mhm.
So that took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting that. Not that it was bad. I just wasn't expecting it. So it was definitely um, in depth, deep. I definitely say that.
It's
Um,
intense. Now, and I remember when I woke you up from this hypnosis portion of it, which is a couple of
mhm.
hours. And I asked how long you thought it was.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah.
had no idea.
It is. Because I'm thinking it's an hour and a half, and you're like, no, Jamie, it's like 2:15, 2:20. I was like, what? So you don't even realize the time that's going by. And after the ceremony, then you took me to the next moment of that life. And if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, but
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure, didn't I go, you took me to the end of life?
Before that, after the ceremony, there was a woman who felt like home. And there
Oh,
was some
that's
sort of
right.
hand fasting. You said we belong together, and she's not very tall. You said that. You said it's my wife, and she's got a skirt of grasses, but no real clothes, only grass. Um, and again, someone outside of the hut played music. This could be something very, very rudimentary. And
Yeah.
you said that everybody's happy, you were happy. So it's some sort of marriage, hand
Ah.
fasting, hand binding. Mm.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Wow. Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
And
crazy.
then we
Good
got to
crazy.
the last day. It was good crazy. I know, right?
Yeah.
We come out of these sessions sometimes and people will say, "Well, I feel like I made it all up." And it's like, "Well, this story, is that something that you would make up?
Oh, no.
Why would you make
No
that
way.
why would you make that up? You can make up anything. If we're gonna make it up, why not? Hey, I was riding a unicorn into battle. Why not?
Right. That's so
Why
true.
why would you invent something like this?
Yeah,
Grass
exactly.
skirts
Yes.
and,
Yes.
living in grass huts.
Yeah, that's so true. I'd see myself in a castle with lots of money. Yeah. What was my end of life like? I believe I couldn't move. That was interesting because I really pondered that when
Yeah.
after I listened to it again. Um,
You said
because I
you
felt, go
go ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
I just felt like I couldn't move. I don't know if I was elderly and couldn't move, if I just couldn't move because I was injured or incapacitated in some way, but I do remember it feeling very peaceful. It wasn't traumatic or anything like that. I just remember thinking that was kind of peaceful. You know, I don't know why that stuck out to me. It just reminded me of being very peaceful and like family was around.
Yeah. Yeah, family was around. Yeah, you just said, "I'm lying down on the ground. I'm okay, but I can't move. My head hurts." The
Hmm.
lessons that you had were family being important. It's okay to do something different, which I think was really important for that life.
I do too. I do too.
Why do you think it was important?
Just because it sounded like in that particular lifetime that I didn't get a lot of freedom to make my own choices, that there were expectations put upon me as the male of the family. And
Mm,
so getting to do what I wanted to do didn't really seem like there was a lot of that in that. Still hear me? Can you
I
hear me okay?
kind of froze a minute.
Yeah, yeah. And so I think why that was important is about that choice, having a lot of freedom. And that's one of those things in this lifetime for me that's really important is doing what I want to do. I don't as I don't like restrictions a lot. Of course, I know in life there are some, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, I'm very much about freedom, this free spirit wanting to do what it is I want to do.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that could come from having a lifetime like that, or maybe since that was just one lifetime, maybe I've had many lifetimes like that. And
Probably.
so in this lifetime, it's really important for me to have that freedom to say, no, I don't have to do that. I'm going to do what Jamie wants to do.
That is a really important point. And the only
Yeah.
reason that your higher self would show you any particular lifetime is because there's something you're supposed to get out of it. And I feel like that's what you were supposed to. In fact, in my notes, I said, well, why did you show Jamie that lifetime, that particular lifetime? They said to show freedom and choice and to do what she wanted to do. Maybe she doesn't always see that she can choose.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was huge for me. And I'm big that way with friends, with family, even clients that I talk to, and they talk about, well, I don't have a choice, Jamie, or I feel pressured that I have to do this. And, I'm really big with people about, no, you do have a say.
Oh,
You do have a choice. But a lot of times I get clients or friends and family who don't feel like they get a choice, and I maybe that experience has helped me with telling people it's okay, you do have a choice. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but you do have a choice.
mm-hmm. Right. And I'm sure in that lifetime, if you really just did not feel like you wanted to do that particular job, you could probably say, I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
Maybe,
maybe.
maybe. What- For you, what was the biggest thing that you learned from that life?
I really do think that was it, was about choice and having freedom to make to make my own choices. I thought families with family
Mhm,
um, was really important, which has always been important to me.
mhm,
Um, I don't know, and maybe a little bit of with the crown on the head that maybe I wish I would have or could have gone into more detail about that to see what that was like, because maybe even though I didn't want to, maybe it wasn't that bad a thing at all. It's definitely QHHT is definitely one of those things like I'd like a year from now. I'm going to try it again. It's definitely one of those things that I feel like once you get a taste of it, you want to explore it again and again and again. Just if nothing else, Christy, that experience of reliving different past lives, if that's where you happen to go. Like you said, that may not always be where you go, but I know it's definitely going to be one of those things that I do again. Absolutely.
Oh, good, good, because there's more
And
to explore.
yeah, and that's what I would tell anyone who was interested is to definitely seek you out, schedule an appointment. I think there's a lot we can learn from them. And I thought it was fascinating. Like I said, I know it's going forward now that I've experienced, I know it'll be one of those things I get annually just because I'm curious like that,
Get
to
so much.
see.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
and not just the other lifetimes, right? And remember
Right. Absolutely.
exactly. You
Yeah.
also got
Yeah.
some healing, some information about your body out of it. Yeah,
Yes.
how's your body
Yes.
feeling since you had the session?
Initially, it felt really good because,
Yeah,
again, I like to let everyone know I'm kind of what I call a healthy skeptic. And I do believe there was some healing because a few days after, I remember going, no, this can't be real, you know. And it kind of it came back, but I remember thinking two things I thought. One, I thought, no, this can't be real, but actually some healing goes on. And then secondly, I thought once it kind of came back, I'm like, maybe I should reach out to Christy for a Reiki session. You know, I was thinking that, get some of that healing because, again, as a skeptic, I thought, no, this is real. I'm not making this up.
absolutely. That's when you listen to your recording again.
Yeah. Ah,
That's when you
okay.
listen again, because every time you listen, you're back in that energy and you are
Oh,
reinforcing. I mean, all of this I mentioned before you left, but after your session, you're just kind of like
yeah, yeah,
overwhelmed, just a little overwhelmed.
yeah,
And it was in the, I sent a follow-up email as well that,
yeah, yeah.
how important it is to listen to it. That
That's
every time
true.
you listen, you're back in that energy. And also you're reinforcing, like you said, it's like, no, this has been done. No, I did receive this healing. And so
Right,
the more that you can reinforce that to yourself, the mind and the consciousness is very, very very strong, but also very creative. And so, the conscious mind wants to kind of run the show. Dolores called the
yeah.
conscious mind Mr. Stupid. And, and Mr. Stupid thinks that they're in charge, but they're not. And Mr. Stupid, the conscious mind will go, no, I've had that limp for years, and not really accepting that, what? No, it's been resolved. Right? We go
Right,
back to our old habits.
right.
And so that's why it's
Very
important
good
to
point.
listen.
Very good point. Well, I thank you for that. That was, yeah, truly amazing. You'll be seeing me again next year, that's for sure. That was quite the experience, and I would recommend that hands down to anybody. How can people reach you to get information if they want to schedule a session? How can people get in touch with you, Christy?
Well, through the website, radiatewellnesscommunity.com, and there's a contact button there. But also you can schedule appointments, and we've got all of our contact information on there, the email and the phone number. So you can even schedule a 20-minute consultation just to find out if this is right for you and answer any questions. But also, we've got three up yeah, three other practitioners with Radiate Wellness. So people will call and make an appointment to talk about, well, should I do coaching with Jen? Should I do astrology
Ah,
with Jane? Should I do QHHT with you? And so, we can go over all of the various options and answer any questions that anybody would have.
okay, okay.
Mhm.
Well, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for spending the evening with us. I just want to tell folks out there if you get a session done, if you've